Sounds good.
Hello. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Josh, and I am an addict. I've been addicted for, I don't know, it's probably been 20 years. I'm aware. I know that the first step is kind of acceptance, and I realize that I'm an addict.
Just let it out, man.
I know this is hard. It got worse in COVID. I just saw the stuff that I wanted and on the Park Tool website, and I just kept ordering and ordering and ordering. And I'm a home mechanic. I have several hundred Park Tools.
You have a whole bike shop,
right? Which is probably 180 more than anyone needs. But since we started this podcast, we've been stoked to talk to Park Tool, and just sent a cold email, and you guys responded.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's Friday night. Dane and I just got done riding a new social trail that was cut this week, or opened this week, out by us. And so we're sweaty and a little sore. It was fun. We rode for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Lacey kicked my ass as normal.
She kicks everybody's ass.
She's fast. Lacey's my wife. But we're here with Truman Purdy from the one and only Park Tools. How are you this evening, sir?
I am doing well. And I've got a similar problem. It's been going on for a long time.
I'd imagine you get a better price than I do, though.
Yeah.
On those
maybe
Park
on
Tools.
those tools. Yeah.
What did you do before Park, Truman?
Before Park, I was working in bike shops.
Were you?
Worked in about 4 or 5 different bike shops, and in between there, I was automotive. I did some automotive. That's where I went for school. Went to school for automotive.
Right on.
I worked on tractors and trucks and concrete stuff, and got back into bikes, and
always been into tools. So
yeah, always been into tools. That's been my history. Has always been tinkering, taking stuff apart, working with tools. And so, now I just work with tools all the time.
So
Yeah.
Truman, are you a roadie, or do you have fun when you ride your bike?
I like to have fun when I ride my bike.
That's so mean. Roadies have fun too.
They might. I don't know. It feels like they're suffering.
They do. Like I feel like roadies are like Formula One. They're Formula One fun.
I thought downhill was Formula One.
No, that's Baja truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, downhill's more like Baja. Go as fast as you can and see how smooth you can keep your head over the terrain. Formula One is like all about grip and fast and yeah.
So Truman, what do you ride? What bikes do you have at the moment?
So I have right now I have a couple hardtails for my mountain bikes. I got basically the 2 identical bikes. I just have different parts on each one to try different things.
Right.
So I have a Surly Karate Monkey.
Oh, that's a good bike. I've had that bike.
Kind of built out nice. I mean, for a Karate Monkey, it's built out better than a lot of them.
Right.
But then I have a All City. Oh boy, what is this thing? Electric Queen.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Electric
it's a fun
Queen.
little bike.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I always like
got
their
this-
paint jobs too. So
I had to have it. That was the reason why I bought it. It was the splatter job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the beginning of COVID, I sold my full suspension bike, and because the prices were. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
You could not sell your nice bike because people were giving you way more than you paid for.
Go ahead and tell your story, Dan.
Well, yeah. I mean, I sold all my bikes in my garage. We were selling 26-inch bikes out of our garages that were lying around forever.
Right.
And
getting good money for them.
And getting good money for them. And I started calling all my friends. Hey, that bike that you never ride that's gathering dust?
Can you give it to me?
Yeah. Well, I actually did say that. I would say like, look, if you're not going to do anything, give it to me and I'll sell it. But I encouraged them to sell it too. But yeah, we were out of bikes. And so we would call in all of our friends, bring your bikes in so we can sell them for you. And we'd sell them on consignment. So
That's a
Yeah.
great idea. Yeah, the bike shop. So during COVID, actually, I helped a local bike shop get opened up,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was a huge part of their business during COVID. Was these, just consignment bikes and used bikes, just people bringing them in and selling them, and
Dude, what a crazy time to start a shop during COVID when
Yeah.
like you can't, or like nothing's available. And
Yeah.
you're like, is it really this hard?
Yeah.
well, it was almost the opposite.
Oh, really?
It was like 2019. I started helping them get going, and it was we were looking at locations, and they were talking about, okay, what accounts do I need to open up? It was people that had not come from the bike industry at all.
Yeah.
One was a nurse, kind of a nurse manager, and then one that came from managing a golf course. And they went out to, I think, Asheville, and they went to the Hub, and they fell in love, and they said, we want to do this as our retirement gig. And they came back and were like, hey, can you help us get this open? It's one of my best friend's parents. And so I was like, yeah, this sounds awesome. So we looked around, and it was a fun process doing that, and then kind of renovating. And then I'm sitting there like, okay, here's about bikes, selling bikes, telling them all of the bad, maybe all of the difficult things about bike shops, like there's going to be customers that come in and they look around, and you're going to help them for an hour or something, and they're going to go buy it on Amazon or something.
Right.
Or there's going to be people who come in, and they come in 3 different times, and then they go and buy it from some other bike shop. Or getting them ready for those ups and downs. The next day, somebody's going to come in and buy 3 $2,000 bikes, and it's just going to be really sweet that day. And then COVID hit, and so they were kind of freaking out.
Did they have inventory before COVID hit?
They did.
Oh, so that's a great time to get in.
That is the right time then, yeah.
I mean, at least you get that little boost,
They had inventory, and they threw down a lot of money on getting inventory as much as they could, and they put in all these because they got in with Giant, because there was another Trek store in our small little town,
right?
And so they couldn't get in Trek, and in the Midwest, Trek is really the big name that everybody knows and goes after. So they picked up Giant, and then they did Surly and All City, and now they have Santa Cruz and a couple other brands. But so then they started selling bikes during COVID, and man, they were like, Truman, what were you talking about?
Yeah, this
People
is golden.
Walk in,
Yeah.
and they just point at a bike and say, I want that. and they walk out, they give us money, and they walk out the door. Or they say, I want that. Oh, it's not the right size. Oh, I'll wait 6 months, but I'll pay you today.
Yeah.
And then Giant just kept on filling, they just kept on giving them bikes. They sold so many bikes.
That's awesome. That's the
Were
right
you warning
time
them that like, this is not normal? Don't consider please don't get used to this.
Yeah.
I told them, I was like, this is not normal. There's a bubble and it's going to pop. Yeah. Don't get stuck with the most inventory that's going to be not worth a bunch.
Yeah. Don't buy a new building.
They actually kind of did. So it's a really cool setup. They bought what used to be, when I was 5 years old, my dad would bring me there to buy parts. It was an old parts store.
Yeah.
And then it got turned into like a potting studio, and then it got turned into a restore. And it's off the beaten path. And so when we were looking at it, and we were like, you have to make this a destination. And Steph looked at me, she's like, this is going to be a destination. I was like, all right, let's do this.
Nice.
And so it's a brewery, it's a microbrewery with a bar, like a big long bar, and a bike shop.
Oh, that's cool.
And so Ellis, their other son, is brewing beer, and I'm behind, maybe behind the counter fixing bikes, and then my friend Derek's fixing bikes behind the counter, and people are just sitting in the middle of all of it, watching us kind of do our thing, which is, it's kind of weird to have people watching you fix bikes and asking you questions as you're doing stuff, like in a bigger way than normal. Normally, right. There's just a couple people there.
Yeah.
But this, there's can be 30 people sitting there, and so it was interesting. But it is a really cool environment. They actually have a big music fest there called Kennystock. That's the local river which runs right in front of it.
Right.
And so they have some big bands. They have thousands of people there, and they sell a ton of beer and have a bunch of music going on. And
That's awesome.
It's a really cool space,
dude. I want to I want to go there. What's the name of the shop?
It's called The Garage.
The Garage.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got a shirt? Nice.
Look at him. He's got a shirt. He's got the shirt on. He's repping the shirt.
That's been the dream of most bike shop owners, is to have that combination of a brewery or what I wanted.
Strip club.
Yeah, I already did that.
It didn't work. The girls kept getting grease on him. It just didn't work out.
There was problems with the saddle. No, I wanted a brewery on one side of the bike shop, a cafe, like coffee shop on the other side. And then in the back, I wanted a big window. And in the back of the shop, I wanted a frame builder to be building frames back there. And that's been my dream.
See like you can see the sparks and stuff from the
guys
welder.
in there making bikes in the back room. There's, you can go on your group ride in the morning and have coffee, or you can come in after your ride and have a beer, tacos and beer. Yeah. I still want to do that. I don't know if I'll ever get to, because you gotta, that's more than 3 businesses to run right there.
Guru Bikes 2.0.
Yeah, maybe
somewhere on the east side of Tucson. Maybe.
Yeah, I just east side. So that's an inside. That's an inside joke.
It was a big undertaking for them. It took a lot of energy to get them to where they're at, and it took a lot of risk and a lot of vision and a lot of investment. But now it's all paying. It seems to be all paying off for them. So
that's good.
Good diversity
good job
too.
To Steph and Matt, they've been doing a really good job with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so they've the brewery part actually came from not being able to get a liquor license. So they pretty much had to become a microbrewery to get a microbrewery license,
which was easier than getting a liquor license.
Easier than getting a liquor license.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's a microbrewery in Wisconsin. You can sell other people's beer.
Yeah, you can have what do you call them? Like visitor taps or something like that. That's not the right word. Brian Vance at Catalina Brewing is going to be upset with me, but it's it's you bring over other taps. Guest. There we go. Guest taps. Yeah. So
yeah. But they have to be they have to also be small. So I think something like less than 30,000 barrels a year or something like that.
Right.
In Wisconsin is the rule. And but yeah, his beer is really good. He's a chemist, and he actually just quit his job as a chemist, working for a really big company, and now he's just starting to brew beer all the time. He got a new set of brewing equipment, and they are having a hard time keeping up with how much beer they're selling.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. Turns out chemists make good brewmasters.
Well, I mean,
it basically is chemistry, right?
Yeah. I bet you they're great bakers too.
Probably.
So, yeah. So a lot of chemistry going on.
Well, I didn't expect us to do a 10-minute advertisement for the garage, but it sounds like it was worth it.
If you're in Ellsworth, Wisconsin.
If you're in Ellsworth, Wisconsin.
You got to go by.
This is River Falls.
Oh, okay, River Falls.
River Falls, Wisconsin. Go check out the garage.
We get a lot of snowbirds here, so I bet some of the people in Tucson have probably been there or lived there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, my wife and I at some point, I don't know if it'll be this year, next year, some year, we're going to
Minnesota or
get the van.
Detroit.
We're going to get the van and just go, and we'll definitely stop by the garage on our adventures.
Well, we've got a lot of good trails in our area. We have so the map over here, that's one of the original maps of our trail system that me and my buddies and a lot of people in our community have been working on for a long time. That's an old map. We have almost 10 miles of trails there, which isn't a ton, but it's a lot of good miles, and we keep it really well maintained.
That's good.
And so that's in town, and it's one of the more aggressive trails in the Twin Cities area. So there's a lot of jumps and gaps and wood features, and there's a big jump line, which you don't get a lot of in the Twin Cities area.
Yeah. Yeah. So 10 miles of that kind of stuff. That's a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's really good. And now we have, so there was a local group, which stemmed from the NICA group. And they've, it's called Wiki is their group, and they've opened 2 trail systems, and both are more than 10 miles now, but they're at state parks. So they have access to more miles of, or more acres of trail.
Yeah.
And those are really, really cool trails too. The terrain is fantastic. And the trails that were really well built. because we've been building ours by hand for forever, and they went in there,
Got
5
machines.
years ago and just started going to town with machines.
Yeah.
And they put in a ton of miles really fast.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really cool.
Does Park Tool have trail building tools?
We don't.
No?
We have not forayed into that.
I feel like that's a good place to go. I do. I really do, because it's becoming popular.
Yeah.
I keep seeing these little compact ones that have couplers and stuff, so you can put them together. So
that one's really cool.
I feel like some blue ones need to happen. So
yeah,
maybe I'll start spray painting all of my. I'll get some color match and violate their patent. And I know that's a big deal. The color's a big deal for you guys, but I'll spray paint on my.
Send you a cease and desist.
Yeah, I know.
As long as it's not a bicycle tool, you're good to go. You're good. It can be as blue as you ever wanted, as long as it's not a bicycle tool. But it's an interesting topic. The trademark, the blue color trademark.
Yeah.
And so Eric, the boss, man, he in the early 2000s decided to trademark that blue color, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal, and it's unfortunate that sometimes we look pretty mean when we have to enforce it.
Right.
But in order to have it and prevent like big companies from using blue as their color, or having a lot of companies from outside the U.S. Come in with blue tools that just look exactly like ours, and now we can protect ourselves and say, hey, you can't have that. We were sending a cease and desist. Just make it purple, whatever, but not a blue shade of purple, because we have there's a whole, if you're within some shade of blue, there's some rules about that. But it's kind of like having brown trucks for a shipping company, or having a
green tractors or a swoosh.
Oh yeah, green tractors,
all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get any complaints from me, man. I'm a corporate strategist, and that's your brand identity, and you got to protect that. And I look at my extensive collection of Park tools, and I'm proud of the fact that I got this wall of blue out there, right? And I have a couple spots that are not blue, because I bought some off brand or something, and I'm like, I gotta fix that. I gotta fix that hole right there where it's not blue. It messes up the aesthetic.
So the founder of Park came from like a Schwinn store in and so because I remember old Schwinn tools.
They were red.
I don't remember what color. The ones that I remember were the ones that you'd get with the bike, which were like stamped steel. My grandpa had them in his basement with his bikes, and they'd be these stamped steel multi-tools. They look like just pieces of steel with like shapes stamped out of them, so they'd fit nuts and what have you. Yeah. And so that's kind of cool.
I mean, at one point you guys were actually making the Schwinn tools, right? And they were red, and then those were actually Park tools, and then they switched over to the blue, and they dropped the Schwinn name and went all Park, as I understand it.
Is that right?
Yep. Oh. That's exactly what happened. So I'll just tell a little bit of an origin story. So
perfect.
Art Engstrom and Howard Hawkins, those were the two founders of Park Tool. They started a repair shop in Hazel Park, which is basically a very, very close suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota. And they repaired bikes, of course, but they also did radio repair and skate sharpening and all kinds of different things, because they had just gotten back from the war, didn't know what they wanted to do. We're trying to figure out how to make money for their families. So they're, I think Art was living in his basement because they hadn't even built the house yet. They just could pay for the foundation. And so they started this bike shop, and it started going better and better and better and better. And then they, with Schwinn, and then they got to be the largest Schwinn dealer in the United States. And so they were huge. And, the big wigs at Schwinn were coming by, and they were talking strategy and doing all of these things. And Schwinn back in the day was a big deal.
Yeah.
They were doing education.
Yeah.
Before anybody.
Yeah.
They were doing all of these things to help the dealers do a better job and create professionalism and get more people in the door. And, Art and Howard, there's a couple of different things they did. One of these things was that is really fun is it's one of I call it like a win-win-win situation. they had the Boy Scouts come to them and they're like, "Hey, we want to do something for you guys." So they were like, "What if you guys give out like flyers, sale flyers for our bikes, at the store, and we'll give you 5 cents per flyer that you give out." And so they gave out like 30,000 flyers a year.
Jeez.
And just spread like wildfire. And
this was before the internet, and you had all those. Yeah. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way before the internet. This was in the 60s, right. 50s or 60s. And then, they started making their own tools in the back to make things more efficient. And one of the first things they made was a repair stand.
Oh, yeah.
And that changed. The Schwinn rep came in and he's like, "What is this?
What were they using before that? Like, I can't even
upside down on a bench.
I can't even imagine that. Like,
it'd be a pain in the ass, huh?
It would be. I mean, because I did that when I was a kid. Working out on the sidewalk with your bike upside down and scratching up everything, and like, I
think some people back in the day also did the suspended from the ceiling like strings.
Oh yeah,
and like pulley systems and stuff.
Yeah,
but it was mostly bikes upside down on a repair bench.
Wow.
They made this. It's a really cool stand. I really appreciate it because it's got like the base of a clawfoot table, and then a giant shell casing from a tank or something,
filled with concrete or something.
Filled with concrete with a forward rear end axle sticking out the top of it,
weighed like 2,000 pounds,
with a ring on it with holes. And then another axle coming out of it, and then a cam over center clamp, which we still basically sell a version of it today.
Yeah.
And the silver clamps, not our newer black clamp, but the silver clamps where you throw the arm back.
Yeah.
But on that one, the arm was a hockey stick. And
that's so Minnesota.
So Minnesota. It was really cool. And so they got in, so they were like, we want to buy a bunch of these if you can make more of them. So I think at that point, Howard went to Dunwoody, which is a technical college in our area, and got a degree, and they started building tools. They started with that repair stand, got into making tools for Schwinn. Like the cone wrenches started as red with Schwinn. Some of the stamped steel little wrenches. I don't know if they made the multi-tools, but the little wrenches, they got into those. And I have a couple around here somewhere. But and then they got to the point where they were still running this huge Schwinn shop, and they were running this tool company. And they just had this vision of, we think that the tool company is going to take off. Let's go with that. Let's sell the bike business to somebody else, and let's do this full time. And they started doing that, and kind of the rest is history. And it's come, today we're the world's largest bicycle tool company.
That's awesome.
Truman, how big are you guys? How many employees do you have?
We're not, we're the world's largest bicycle tool company.
Yeah.
There's four of us.
Massive. Yeah, there's four of us.
Is there really only four of you?
So it depends on how you count. Like,
okay.
The market share significantly changes. There's a lot of small tool companies, I would say, making more a lot of like more niche tools,
right?
Which a lot of their tools are amazing, and but I would say there's four kind of major. If you start to consider some of the ones that aren't sold in the U.S. but are sold in Europe, like Cyclist and VAR, there's probably 5 major bicycle tool companies in the world.
Right.
And how many employees do you have though?
So we're at about 70.
Oh,
okay. I thought you said you had 4 employees.
Yeah.
I was so confused there. I was like, this is not
There's
working.
No way. Well,
I can't figure this out.
We talked to Outbound, and I think they have 6. I think they added one last I heard.
But Outbound, I can reconcile.
Yeah.
Park Tool 70 feels right.
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we have basically, well, three sales guys. So it's like there's 3 people doing the same thing, and then 3 engineers. So we have a lot more than more than 4. That's for sure. But a majority of them are manufacturing, and so we're kind of a unique facility where we have an office with 15 people,
right.
And then that's directly connected. You walk through a door, and then there's a manufacturing facility with welding, machining, packaging, shipping, storage, QC, engineering.
So you guys build everything.
Assembly.
You guys build everything there?
We build about 75% of our products in-house.
Okay.
We of course, I'm not going to say that we do everything because we don't. We have vendors that do all kinds of stuff for us. So we have a person who does a lot of our plating. We have anodizing people and chrome plating people and nickel oxide and all kinds of different platings and stampers and people that dip for us, all kinds of places. And then we import stuff from Taiwan and China, and we either use those or just parts for assembly, or they, maybe they come in as a mostly complete product and we do a final assembly on it. But yeah, most of all of it is done in-house, and so it's a pretty cool facility to walk through.
Oh, that's super cool.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Truman, could you take us through like the development process of a tool, like from the original concept or idea, like all the way through final production? Like, what are the steps that you guys go through? Yeah,
the earliest step is somebody in the product team. There's about 10 people kind of involved with it, but basically 6 people that are really involved with the product. And I'm on that team.
Right.
And so somebody will come to that team with an idea, and you don't just come with like a loosey-goosey idea. You got to come with something that's really solid with some legs on it. And then you kind of put up a reason that why is this something important that we should make? How is it going to stick? How many do you think are going to sell? What are the liabilities? Like, what's going on with this product? And then after that, then it goes into, okay, what's the manufacturability of it? But just as like a conceptual time, you're just sitting there and like just thinking about it. You haven't even really made a prototype yet. Sometimes the person who has the idea comes with a prototype because they don't believe, because it's easier to show somebody how something works rather than explain it. So you bring maybe a very loose prototype to a meeting, or you explain it, and then it's like, yeah, and then everybody agrees, or really just the boss man agrees, says, yeah, I think that's a viable one. And then the engineers hop in and drawings start getting created, prototypes start flowing. We go through a prototyping process. And then once we have some pretty solid prototypes, then we start going into getting more kind of production style samples. And then we really get into the product, and then we start QCing those samples, and then we start really hammering on testing them. And then we start putting in POs and orders and that's where things really kind of ramp up.
Right.
Because at that point you're starting to talk about all the little things. A lot of times lots of people come to us with ideas, and a lot of those people come to us with an idea, and they're like, they think it is worth something. I'm not going to say it's not worth something. That first repair stand-up park tool, that was worth something. And there's a ton of ideas that come to us, and they're totally worth something. And sometimes they come and they're like, I wanted this idea, I want an NDA. And it's like, if you want an NDA, you're going to want some kind of cut, and maybe we'll give it to you. Maybe it's not worth it. You never know. But that the idea can stem from somebody kind of writing in. Some people write in and they're like, hey, here's an idea. If you guys want to, run with it. But
he's got an idea for you.
Which one?
You got a lot.
Oh no, probably. But yeah. I was going to say one of my favorite new tools, I did an Instagram post about it, and I modified it because it wasn't quite what I needed as a suspension guy. I don't know what the names are, and forgive me because I never memorize this stuff. It's the little black cube that does the air caps on forks. Yeah. So I did a post when I got it. The guys got it for me at work as a gift, and they're like, "Here, this is."
You should probably explain what you do.
Oh yeah. So I aside from owning a bike shop, I also have a suspension center, and we do a ton of suspension for geographically the whole area. We get shops from all over the country, but we do them for shops as well as ourselves. Oh, and awesome. So we do a lot of volume, and And so I'm constantly oily in the back working on suspension. And the amount of times that I've had to take a tool to a Fox air cap just to break it free, and even maybe left a wrench mark because it was so tight for some reason, and they came out with this new tool. What's it called?
I think it's called the FTC.
That sounds,
fork top cap tool.
Yeah. And so it's
like that.
It's just a cube, but each side of the cube has a different interface for different forks.
Right.
And so the only thing that I did, and so I posted this on my Instagram for the suspension shop, I had to drill holes through the center of all of them because I use that tool to break free like adjusters that have, I don't want to spin that adjuster all the way and like use when I'm taking the screw or the bolt out of it. I don't want that worm drive inside to get bound up, So I'll put the top cap tool on. I put the tool through the cube, and then I can hold the top cap and break that nut free or that I don't even know what you call it, screw.
Yeah,
I mean it's a hex head screw, so button head usually.
Interesting.
And so
that's cool.
So I even posted something on my Instagram. Hey, Park, this is version 2.0. You're welcome to it. So
there you go. We don't need an NDA. You can have that one for free.
You can have it. Yeah. But yeah, it's now one of my favorite tools. Cause like for instance, on Fox Fit forks, they have a black adjuster for their low speed compression and I have to take that whole assembly apart and I don't like that thing binding up. I don't want to just, unthread that by letting the worm drive inside bind up because that's alloy, and can damage. So it's really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked to hear about that because that was a tool that we were really excited about, and it's very simple, but it's kind of where I was going is the nitty gritty on the tool stuff or products in general. It is some of the most difficult stuff to do. Figuring out the correct packaging, figuring out the correct, writing appropriate instructions, coming up with taking all the pictures, making graphics for the instructions and the parts diagrams. And there's so much behind the scenes. And then the marketing aspect of all of it, getting it in front of people, getting them distributed all throughout, and then fostering all the relationships with all of those people that are selling and getting the timeline all to work where you launch a product, everybody has it, everybody can buy it when they're excited about it. And that's what I find is the more difficult part, having an idea and kind of sussing out a design is one thing. All of that is really where the meat and potatoes are of the business. And it's really, it's fun to see. It's fun to be part of too.
Truman, do you know how many tools you guys you offer for sale right now, roughly? Any idea?
Roughly 500.
500, Jesus.
So
you got to cull some of those every year, right? Some of them got to fall off the lifts every year.
Yeah, and sometimes boss man comes in and he's like, yeah, I think we got to get rid of this one. No. What are you thinking? Not that. Anything but that. And then you look at the sales and you're like, man, this is a bummer. And you guys have probably had that happen and you're like, well, how did they get rid of that? It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably because we were selling 50 of them a year or something. Or
do you not just have a shelf where you have like 25 lying around forever? So
no.
It's just in time, baby.
Yeah.
We have a museum where we try to keep one of stuff, which is crazy. It's been difficult to keep one of a lot of them.
Yeah.
Just one. Somebody came in with a warranty item. It was a ruler. And they came in, and the front desk lady called me, and she's like, "Hey, can you come and talk to this guy? I don't think this is a warranty, and I'm not a warranty person." Yeah. And so I go out there, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I pick up this ruler, and it's from the '60s, and
they're trying to warranty it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So what goes wrong on a ruler?
Well, interesting question. So back we did it. It was painted, so it was an aluminum stamped out ruler, and then all the lines and everything were painted on. And paint wears off.
Oh yeah.
So half the paint had worn off of one side that he was using the most. And so he brings this ruler in, and I'm like, I've never seen this. And so I'm like, yeah,
this was made 20 years before I was born.
You're like, hey, buddy, this thing only lasts 60 years. What's wrong with you people?
And so I'm like, yeah, here's a new ruler. The only stipulation is I get to keep this one, or we get to keep this one. So I take that one, and then we haven't seen one for probably 30 years.
Right.
It was because we did the ruler in red and we did the ruler in blue. And it was in blue for a very short period of time before we went to our current ruler, which has markings that are stamped in. And so they actually have texture, so you can't wear all the markings off of it.
Right.
And so that was added to the wall. I got it. And I'm like, well, this is cool, and put it on the wall next to all the other stuff. But people call up. There's a lot of collectors out there, and people call up and they ask for some interesting things. They want original instructions to put into the packaging that they found. They want X, Y, or Z. Oh, and a lot of times they call up and they say a tool, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So we have a history log. I can go in there and I'm like, oh yeah, that tool. Okay, cool. Yeah, we have nothing about that tool. I can go into a deep, dark room with a filing cabinet, and I can find a drawing from way back in the day, but it's not going to help anybody out. It doesn't. Yeah. There's no parts for it or anything. But
right,
it is. We are on the parts thing. I just got to say the one thing. Just pat ourselves on the back a little bit. Parts. We are really good at holding on to parts. And so, like, torque wrenches, we have a bunch of parts. We don't necessarily sell all the parts that we have for torque wrenches because these people send these in for calibration. Or if you have one that's broken, you can send it in for calibration and we'll fix it and then, calibrate it and send it back to you. Because when you start messing with parts on these, you start messing with the calibration. So we don't feel like we should encourage people to fix it on their own.
Right.
But we have parts for all of our torque wrenches that we've pretty much ever sold. We have parts for all kinds of things, like our CN10s, the cutters, the invisible spring that's inside of them.
Oh, yeah. For our listeners, he's giving us a show and tell of some of these parts that he's got laying around his house.
I had a quick question. You brought up collectors. Do you know a guy named Fast Eddie?
I've heard of Fast Eddie.
Have you? Yeah. Okay. So one of our employees is friends with him, and he's our current, I don't know what you call a toolophile or whatever you
tool
call
addict.
It. Tool addict, yeah. But he mentioned Fast Eddie, and I guess Fast Eddie's goal is to have every discontinued park tool. Like he's still working on his collection of every single discontinued one. So if you talk to Fast Eddie, you got to tell him that Willie says hi from Guru Bikes.
Yeah.
So
I want to see this collection.
Yeah.
There's going to be some cool stuff. I've talked to some interesting people. There's a guy in Canada, and he collects all the gear, T-shirts, hats, mechanics shirts. So he has all these different generations of all of them, but he has like a stack of them.
That's cool.
And so he keeps them all in a case. I've talked to another guy. He's got our WTKs. It's basically a roadside kit. So it's got a multi-tool in it, a chain tool, some tire levers, some cool little custom tools that were made just for those kits. And he's got every version of them. And that's one we don't have. We don't have a couple of the WTKs that we had that we made through the years. But yeah, a lot of,
it's crazy cool what people will collect. Like I collect pint glasses. So I absolutely have a park tool pint glass in my collection.
You probably have a couple.
I think I just have one because I don't get into like every version, but I got like an XTR and I've got a Eddie McStiff, which you can't buy from Moab. Like I've got a bunch of them. So, but yeah, that's my.
You don't even drink beer either.
I know, which is funny, crazy.
Which is funny.
Diet Pepsi in a pint glass works.
Did
you know they hold other things other than beer?
No, I didn't know that.
And they hold a pint of it.
I've learned something new today. Hey, Truman, how do you think bike maintenance has changed over the years? Like how, bikes are changing. How does that impact the maintenance and how does that impact you guys?
It's a great question. It has changed, in my opinion, quite a lot. I think that bike maintenance has become a lot more diverse. There's a lot more things that bike mechanics need to keep track of. Compatibility has escalated significantly, and it's been really interesting. The suspension has become a much bigger thing. The servicing suspension has become a lot more popular. The details are a lot more important on these newer group sets. Very small adjustments make a big difference. It has affected us in some ways. It's hard to keep up with all of the new stuff that comes out, the innovation, and then it's also hard to justify doing everything for every new thing that comes out, and so it's hard to kind of make up your mind on what you're going to do to support, because you kind of have to put your eggs in their basket too. You're also saying like, okay, there's a new part on the market and it requires a new tool, or there's a new now e-bike drivetrains and stuff and mid drives and all these lock rings and bottom bracket tools. You got to look at it and you're like, okay, this company, you look at the product and you look at the company and you're like, okay, how many are they going to sell? How many can we sell? And how much of that is a support piece to the industry? Because there's part of that in us. We were like, well, we want to, even if we don't think it's really going to be worth it, our time, as far as like money making goes, it might be worth it for us to make it just as a support to the industry, so that people have the tool and they have access to it. Because that's a big one. When people come to us, the biggest reason that they come to us is that everybody has access. Lots of distributors carry our stuff. Lots of online retailers. It's almost across the globe. We sell in 80 different countries. You can buy our stuff all over the place. But yeah, new stuff coming out all the time. You notice our tools change part numbers slightly, frequently.
It's interesting. When I was thinking about this podcast, I originally was like, oh, this is good. When standards change, that's got to be a good thing for Park, because they get to make a new tool and sell a new tool.
Yeah, that cost.
And then I started thinking about, you got to do molds and tooling and all the shit to make the tool. And now you're splitting your sales, 50%, you got the investment. And so actually it may not be a good thing. It's better to sell 100 of something you're already tooled up for. And I say tooled up like in the manufacturing perspective, right? Mm-hmm. Versus now you got to create all new stuff. And then you don't know, is that standard actually going to stick? To your point, man. So It's complicated, right? And you have some loss leading parts, some tools, or you guys call them servicing the industry, right? That you guys may not be making money on, but you do it just as a benefit to the industry.
Mm-hmm. What's something like that?
Is there an example of a loss leading tool for you guys, or
I don't know.
Or you maybe don't want to talk about it.
I don't know if we truly have any loss leaders. What I would call a loss leader, like when I think of a loss leader, I think of like Dyson headphones, like $1,000 headphones that have like weird circulation in them that nobody's going to buy it, but somebody made them and they're going to sell them for $1 bazillion.
Yeah.
I think some of the stuff that, like facing tools, those are stuff where the quantities are extremely low.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to have inventory and it's hard to forecast ordering and stuff like that. But it's really important for the people who need them. But they're also really expensive. So when you sell one, you make a chunk of money on each one. But we also sell a traditional, we have a fairly traditional distribution channel. So we're selling to a distributor selling to a shop is selling to a consumer, and everybody along the way gets to make some money. And even though it looks like it's really expensive, we probably didn't actually make a ton of money on it. But yeah, those would probably be the number one kind of service to the industry stuff.
So you guys sell to bike shops, you guys sell consumer direct off your website.
Yep. So we don't sell direct to bike shops at all.
No, you sell to distributors who sell to bike shops.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So distributors sell to bike shops, and then we do sell directly from our website And that was that would happen right when I started, and I thought it was a big deal. Because coming right out of a bike shop, I'm like, you're cutting the bike shop out. Mm-hmm. But a lot of bike shops,
you can't carry everything. Yeah.
Can't carry everything.
But you could get all the park tools at your shop that I buy online. Is that true?
Yeah. So, we have access to all of them through the distributor. I was kind of surprised because I've opened, so this bike shop that we opened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But the shop before that was 10 years ago. And each time when I was stocking the shop with tools, I wanted to call Park and say, hey, can we get a bike shop, kit, or something. And the response was go through your distributor. And it was kind of weird. I didn't quite understand it. I do like the traditional supply chain because that is something that kind of gives you consistency. Also, they can make 100 of something. And if they have to sell that 100 to 100 different people,
it's tough.
It's a lot more work than if they sell 100 of them to one distributor.
Yeah.
And then that distributor's already selling it and then the bike shop's selling.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to an extent. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that we couldn't buy direct from them.
And you can, and, oh man, what was I going to say?
Truman, do you have any idea? You probably don't based on your distribution model, but what I was trying to figure out is like, what percentage of your parts go to guys like me, home mechanics, and what percentage of your parts go to guys like him, the bike shop owner? Do you have any idea of the data of that? Because your distribution...
We have a very, very loose idea, and it's probably going to be surprising. But I kind of remember what I was going to talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the difficult parts, so we also get hit up. So bike shops want to buy from us. Mm-hmm. And then also bike shop employees want to get discounts from us.
Yep.
And it's a difficult conversation because I'm right there with everybody. I want to get a discount on stuff too, because I'm in the industry and a lot of people in the industry don't make a lot of money. Part of being in the industry is it's a passion.
Yeah. You're not going to make a lot of money in this industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the discounts are part of this, really a sweet spot. Bike tools are a little bit of an interesting thing because the bike shop is our major customer. They are the customer. They are, when we started, we were selling only to bike shops. So having distributors was really crucial. And now the bike shop employee wanting a discount, it's like, well, there's a reason for the discounts from like a bike manufacturer or a component manufacturer. You get a bike shop employee onto a component or a bike or a frame or something, and they really fall in love with it, they're going to sell that. Mm-hmm. When you are just really loving your tools but you're not selling a bunch of them, it's really just for you, and it benefits you to have the tools. So it is a difficult conversation, and it really took me a long time to kind of wrap my head around it. But now I kind of understand it more. It is a little bit of a different business than most bicycle component or frame or bike companies.
Right. So the split between home mechanic, bike shop mechanic.
Split, I would say it's more than 50% home users.
Wow.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Do you feel crazy. Like that's been a big? I feel like that's been a big change.
Like COVID? Did COVID do that?
No, I would say YouTube.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, I would.
Pre-COVID, I would say it's probably maybe 5-6 years before COVID is kind of when that kind of started happening.
Yeah.
Maybe when that kind of Amazon, because when Amazon started getting strong, that's when we started getting a little bit more data on, because you can follow stuff a lot easier. We don't like Amazon, by the way.
Don't say that too loud, man. This is space lasers.
I love you, Jack.
It's all good. Well, I'll cut that part out. Keep going.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's been interesting. And then Amazon has created an interesting market. When what was it? It's probably 2020. I know it was 2020, just before COVID. We did we made a huge decision, and I was not involved with it. I don't know a ton about it, but I do know that we had like 120, 130, 140 resellers selling our stuff on Amazon, and they would be buying it from distributors. But when you have that many people selling your goods, people start competing against each other.
Yeah.
And you're competing against each other with the same product. And so we culled. And when I say culled, I mean we culled.
Yeah.
We went from like 120 to 140, somewhere in there, to 10.
Wow.
And
that protects your pricing then, basically.
It's a pricing protection strategy, and the pricing protection strategy is crucial because it makes just a fair marketplace.
Yep.
And so it keeps all of the online retailers happy. It keeps the distributors happy, and the distributors have a hard time because they get caught up in the middle of it all. Yep. And they have a do not sell list from us that's this long from people who are underselling our stuff for too little. And that's what happens. We just shut off your supply chain. And if we can't figure out who's selling it, at this point, we've pretty much figured out right away. There's software. We know.
Damn,
right
there
away.
goes my park dumping part strategy business idea.
I don't get that either.
Just kidding.
So the biggest harm that I see that happens to companies is that it gives the consumer the idea that product can be sold cheaper and that when they sell it at their regular price, they're somehow ripping people off. And that's a big thing,
But let's be honest, man. I mean, let's just straight up, like, park tools are not expensive. They're not like crazy expensive. They're affordable to begin with. I'm a cheap ass and I love park tools because I'm a cheap ass.
Yeah.
And they're quality, and buying quality for good prices is like, that's my whole life.
Anytime you have anything, there's going to be somebody who tries to beat the price on it.
I know. I hear you.
And they're going to either do it in a crappy way, which makes it look like your product, but not work.
But you know how I like to find deals on everything.
Yeah.
I have never one time tried to go find a better price for a park tool. Not a of the 200 tools in my garage, and the one I bought off your website directly from Park. I've never been like, I should try to find a better deal on it. This is too expensive, because they're reasonably priced for what I'm getting. Yeah. Truman, what do you think, man?
I have a lot to say on that, but also good luck and let me know if you find it. Because what we find now, what's interesting is it's the people who are dumping, and they know that people like companies like us are watching. And so they'll dump Sunday at 3 a.m. They'll go on eBay Sunday at 3 a.m. and they'll post stuff for cheap. So if you're looking for a deal Sunday at 3 a.m. somewhere in there, you might see it for maybe 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, because they don't want to risk losing their supply chain.
Why would you even do that then?
For the blip.
Yeah.
Because in that time, people have things loaded in their carts already, and they're waiting for the prices to fluctuate, and so they get some like 10 sales maybe out of it or something.
Yeah, it seems.
I don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what's fun is Pete, our good friend Pete. Pete used to be our customer service guy for a year and a half. He's been a long time mechanic in the Twin Cities area, and he was getting really frustrated with people calling or emailing or reading on forums or something about park tools are so expensive. You guys are the Snap-on overpriced blah 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 of the bike industry.
What?
And,
yeah. Do people really think that? I mean, if you're comparing it to like garbage that you can buy from China, that's not going to last, maybe.
Well,
but
I think if you were to buy a Park flathead screwdriver and then compare it to some flathead screwdriver, you could make some argument. But the problem is,
there it is.
That's about it. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a fanboy.
Yeah.
This screwdriver versus a hardware store screwdriver, significantly different in price.
Yeah.
But when you compare this screwdriver to its competition, which people don't really understand because they just think it's a screwdriver, when you compare it to its competition, it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So when you look for JIS screwdrivers, you find Japanese companies, or you find German companies or somebody like that. And our screwdriver is not JIS. It's halfway between the JIS and the DIN standard.
Do you know what that means?
We find.
Yeah, I've got a set of JIS out there, and I've got a set of Park out there.
Yeah. That's a big deal, and people don't know that.
Yeah.
And then they can't turn their limiters on their Shimano trailer.
Yeah, and to the people who can't see, I'm holding up our DSD4. It's a cross-tip screwdriver, and it has what would be a lot of people would consider a JIS tip. And JIS versus Phillips versus a Din. Those are all cross-tip screwdriver standards. And Phillips is meant to cam out at a certain amount of torque. It's going to push out and it's going to strip. The JIS and the DIN standards both have more squared up edges, and they can transfer a lot more torque. And so they don't strip out. It doesn't cam out of there. It can actually sit and stick into a fitting a lot of times. Ours doesn't usually, because of our handles are heavy and weighted and have I really like these handles. I use them for a lot of stuff, like in the prototyping process too, with the hollow ends. And so these screwdrivers are amazing. But yeah, the pricing, but we also have an inexpensive set of screwdrivers that are comparable to like a hardware store screwdriver set.
Right.
And that's when, so Pete, who I was talking about, he basically made a huge doc. He was really big into spreadsheets. So he made a huge doc and basically looked at all the competition and pricing. And basically is like, yeah, we are basically we are either right in the middle on a product, or we're towards the end and we have another product that we sell that's towards the bottom. So we typically have an option in every category that's either in the middle or at the bottom of the price point, and sometimes at the top of the price point. It depends on what it is.
Right.
Because being at the top of the price point, stuff, like a headset press, we're kind of more towards the top of the price point on that one. But it's a lot bigger and heavier duty, and there's more.
It's a better product than what you'd pay if you. So it's not apples to apples. You're not paying the same for the same product.
It's not apples to apples. And if you look at what people are able to use for a long period of time, you walk into a bike shop, they might have the first, a bike shop that's 50 years old. They might have the first headset press they bought from us 50 years ago.
Right. It's still going.
It's still going.
Still going.
Yeah.
And
sometimes better.
Sometimes better than the new stuff, right?
Well, because remember the old flat ones? They didn't have the indents. So some of the original headset presses didn't have an indent. They were just a flat. And so, so they wouldn't get weird. So the new ones have like kind of, I don't know what you call it, ridges on the inside. So they fit the cups and they center. And then I remember there was a couple headsets that we would deal with the new ones where they wouldn't sit quite right, and the flat ones were better. So yeah,
you're looking for the flat ones.
Yeah, well, it just depends. It depends on what you're doing. But yeah, that's you'll as a mechanic, you notice those little differences. So like he's talking about, what I call just generically Phillips screwdrivers. A lot of people don't know there's different types of.
Yeah, when he said crosshead, I'm like, I figured out what you were talking about, and I was like, oh man, is that something I don't know about?
That's the guys that are like complaining because they're going to, not even Ace Hardware, they're going to Harbor Freight, and buying some screwdriver that's
$3,
$2 or whatever, or it's interchangeable with a bunch of different heads, and it won't quite fit. Or like he's talking about, they're actually designed to come out at a certain torque, so you don't rip the heads off. And so, but the bike industry ones are a little different because they're looking for precision and they're looking for turning in more of a shallow area.
And some of the tools that you guys sell, I have like the home mechanic version. Maybe that's like the inexpensive version, because I'm not going to do it like the headset press I have. It's not the bike shop version, right? Or it's not the super high end one. But I don't do that many headset presses.
No, we used to use a board and like a hammer. And how many people did
just for the record,
BMX?
We don't recommend that.
No. It's true. Hey, I got a question.
The BMX industry is still really into the hammers and the wood.
Oh yeah. So
rackets, headsets. Yep.
Does Park make a vice grip?
We don't.
Okay,
that's a good example of like
that's what we want.
So that's why I call it a cross tip, because Phillips is a type of cross tip screwdriver. It's a classification.
Yeah.
And vice grips. That's a name of a brand that makes or.
But does Park make a vice grip style wrench?
No.
Okay, so
keep your eyes peeled, maybe, and it might not be used for what you think it's
okay.
not. I'll give you a little bit more to go on than that.
Okay.
It's going to be basically based off of a vice grip mechanism, but it's for something different.
Okay,
but it's going to help some people, and it's going to help shops on certain bikes that walk in the door, and it's going to be It's going to take something that can be really frustrating or really hurt your thumbs, and it's going to make it a lot easier.
Oh, I'm already into that. But no, we used to joke that our shop doesn't ever have vice grips. We don't have vice grips in the shop.
The fuck do you need them for?
Well, you go to a BMX shop, there's guaranteed to be
vice grips, hammers, pry bars.
I mean, we have hammers, but we don't have like claw hammers,
Yeah.
I mean, we have park hammers. It's like my favorite hammer, but it's funny because there are some tools that we don't carry that I've seen in plenty of bike shops. So, yeah.
So Dane, you had a question about the new
the new stand.
The new stand. So maybe, and believe it or not, Truman, we've already been talking for an hour.
Yeah, I know.
And I have 700 more questions.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to get all my questions out, but I want to make sure we cover your,
yeah, we haven't talked a lot about product. And so I'd like to do a little bit. So there's, our shop in particular, we're starting to do a ton of e-bikes, and I've been shopping for e-bike stands. Most of the bike shops around town have them already. I'm kind of picky. So I have two questions. One, on the original e-bike park stand, it's got the black T at the top. What is that, and does it have to be there?
So the product is the PRS 33.2 is what it's currently called.
Yeah.
And it's an electric lift stand. So has a carriage. I'm just kind of giving people an idea of what I'm talking about. It has a carriage that can lift 120 pounds up and down, and it goes from about 2 inches off the ground all the way to about 7 feet off the ground. That's the range of the clamp.
Okay.
And so the upright is a nice big round extruded piece of aluminum, very, very sturdy. And that is probably 6'11", maybe right at really close to 7 feet. And the crossbar at the top, it's actually blue. The crossbar at the top it has hooks that come on it. And so like you're doing a tune-up, you can hook a front wheel in the front, you can hook a back wheel in the back. Otherwise, it's there as a T-track. So it has a T-track on the bottom of it, and that allows you to add accessories. We don't necessarily sell the accessories, but you might find a reason to mount an accessory, and I'll give you an example of that.
Okay.
So Mondraker, I don't know but they're the mountain bike brand.
Yep.
We talked to them this weekend, actually.
Yeah, at Sedona. So
yeah, really
cool looking bikes, huh?
Really cool looking, kind of edgy.
Yep.
That's how I would kind of classify them. But they have, I think it's 90 now. They have 90 PRS 33.2s in their manufacturing facility.
Oh, wow.
And theirs are set up with monitors. So they mount their monitor to that T-track. And then they mount electrical plugs to the T-track that's on the upright. And then they mount other stuff on the other T-track on the other side. And that allows, and then they have a little computer module on the bottom. And so then they have a wireless torque wrench that goes with it, basically as the person who's assembling the bike goes through it, they can go from they press next on the screen, and it changes the adjustment of the torque wrench, and it records that they torqued the item that they were supposed to have torqued. Or if there's 3 fasteners that need to be torqued to that value at that point, you need to click it 3 times on all 3 of those. So it's basically a QC process happening live as it's being assembled. And so they were able to use that T-track to put those on there. I've also seen, all kinds of different stuff. People do laptop holders and articulating arms that are mounted off of the T-track. And that's what that's there for. That crossbar is just stuff to mount to hose reels, whatever you want.
Can you run it without it?
You can run it without it. Not required.
All right. So that was my first question.
Go for it.
Okay. The second one is there's a new, we call them e-bike lifts, but they're lift stands. So it don't have to be an e-bike, but and we saw it on a couple online, reviewers. It's not out yet, and it's basically got a hand crank, so it's not electric. But I saw somebody hook up a drill to it, which makes it a lot faster. I know. so when's that coming? When do we get to see that? What's it?
Tell us about it.
Yeah. What's the story?
Yeah. So this is a unique product. We really try not to spill the beans before it's available.
Yeah.
And so this is a unique situation, but we're pretty pumped about it. And It's been well received. We showed it at CABDA. It's called the PRS-30.
Okay.
And it is basically a mechanical lift. We have we're going to have to come sometimes in bike repair, which Calvin and I do a lot of education stuff. And sometimes we have to come up with terminology. And then, so in this case, we have to maybe come up, because we have 3 different classifications of stands now. We basically have what my coworker Andy and I kind of came up with was, we have a static option, or we have many static options, to be honest. Static option, which would be like our PRS-3 or our PRS-2, now the 2.2 and 2.3 and 3.3. And then we have our electric lift, which is basically almost, it's not automated, but it's you don't do any work. It lifts it for you 100%. And you can lift it way up high, flip it over, and then whip it way down low, which is the way down low is really cool about the 33, because like with an e-bike, you can put the e-bike in there and flip the e-bike over, drive it to the bottom, lift your motor unit out if you need to do some kind of service like that. So that's really cool, where you can work upside down and it's right in your face.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. But the new one, the PRS-30, it kind of falls in the middle of those. It's a manual lift, is I think what we're going to be calling it. And it comes with a hand crank. And every 5 cranks gets you 1 inch of travel. But that hand crank is mounted on a 10 millimeter hex. So you can just hook up a 10 millimeter socket with a drill of your choice, and that thing just rips down and rips up. It has a soft stop at the bottom, so you're not going to rip your hand off when you get to the end of the travel. It drives itself off of the track at the top, and so you're not going to rip your hand off at the top. It has 120 pound weight capacity, and it has the clamp can be mounted in 2 positions. And I don't know I can't recall the exact numbers on where they start. But basically it has about 26-ish inches of travel. So you can lift it basically 26 inches. And it's, with the drill, you can be faster than a 33. And you can lift just as much, and it is fully serviceable. It can take the whole thing apart in your shop. You can replace all the.
Damn you for introducing me to this.
I'm so excited. So I think some people are. I'm looking
at a picture of it right now on Bike Radar.
So some people are saying this may be a home version of.
But they say it's for shop use as well, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I'm excited, and here's the weird little feedback I can give you, which is a little bit. Our workshop is open kitchen style. We're right out in front of everybody, and so I don't like the look. No joke of the big one. The guys are wanting one. They're finally getting to where they want one, and I don't like how big it is. It blocks a lot of the look of the shop, and in the back room of shops, who cares?
That's a unique thing for your shop,
exactly. Yeah. And so I saw this thing, and I'm like, it looks like our regular stands. Does the function that we want. And I love the fact that the electronics are not integrated. Like you can use it as a regular stand. So you don't have to have this big bulky thing in there if you're never really using it, which is my fear. The guys just won't use it. They'll just lift the bikes. But this way it's got the crank, or we can put a little drill on there.
All right. The obvious question, and you probably don't have the answer. You don't want to answer. Do you guys have pricing on this thing yet?
Pricing, or when it's available?
Yeah, we've got some pricing on that thing.
Yeah.
I know one crucial price that I can tell you guys about. So this stand is going to be available in 2 variants.
Okay.
So one is going to be more focused for shop people, and it's going to be just the upright and a clamp. That's what it's going to be.
So it's got the 4-hole base that you can bolt down to your. Yeah.
So if you have an existing base, you can bolt it right onto that base. Otherwise, you can buy another base. Yeah. And that weighted base, as you know, it's a lot easier to work on a bike when you have a large ballast at the bottom of it. So if you're working on bikes all day, you're going to want the heavy base.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's also going to be available with legs. And the one with legs, it's a lot lighter. And when I mean legs, there are legs that are about 90 degrees from each other, kind of like what we would call a portable stand, like our PCS 10.3 or our PRS 25, something along those lines. Those legs stick out, and It's going to be lighter weight, and it's going to have wheels. It's kind of more intended for a home user, which we see a lot of.
Hold on one sec.
People just want to be able to lift a lot.
Okay.
You're good. Go ahead.
Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty.
Yeah. So you were talking about the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one that's going to be available, the legs, it's going to have wheels on the back of it, so you can tilt it back and wheel it around your garage and put it in a corner or wherever you want.
Nice.
So the one with the wheels on it's going to retail somewhere in the very, very, very likely $8.99.
Okay.
Which is in the mix, very much in the mix for stands like this. For all the bike shop people out there, there's going to be different pricing for bike shops.
Sure.
Which a lot of, say, the competition in this segment don't have that as much. So it's going to be, the price is very good. I will say that for what you get, and the serviceability is really good. And what you're saying is exactly what we heard from Cabda. People really like understanding how things work, the ability to service it, the ability to, not have a very large thing in your repair area. Some people are after that. They want this statement, this professionalism statement of the stand.
Yeah.
But some people don't. And then some people don't have the space. It's a big stand. So we have a video about how to cut it down to a shorter height. And it's a different animal too. The 33 there's other electric lifts in the world. There's a lot of them in Europe. Ours has some unique features that not a lot of them have. Ours is on the higher end of the weight ratings. Ours, the biggest one probably is it has you can have two sides. It comes as a single-sided option, but you can get the second side for it, where a lot of them don't have that second side. And when you're looking at your space and you have to fit two of these big ones in there, that's a lot of space. But if you can use two stands off the same upright, that's a big deal. So that, and then it's very simple to fix. The 33 it's very, very simple as well. I have kind of become one of the more, I've become kind of the go-to guy for repairing that. I have a lot of understanding of how the inner workings work and how to diagnose it. And it's a very simple system. I guess I would kind of relate the electronics to, I've got two kids. It's kind of like a ride-on car.
Okay.
It's very similar. The go button is the pedal.
Yeah.
The other button, the directional button, is the shifter, forward, reverse.
Yeah.
And that tells a motor to go one way or go the other. And then the carriage climbs up a chain or descends a chain. It's a very, very simple thing. It's not something where it's hiding a lot of what's going on, which is what kind of happens with a lot of them.
I like the USB ports on it. I like that because you don't have a USB strung across in front of your bench where you're yanking computers off the table or anything like that. So I do like that. You like you were talking about attaching things to the carriage or the, what do you call it? The
T-bar?
T-bar. Yeah. And having a laptop on there for doing diagnostics. Cause that's the new frontier for bikes right now is we're going to be hooking them up to computers a lot. We already are, and so I kind of like that integration, but then you got to deal with putting wiring it and putting power to it and stuff. So,
yeah.
Well, Truman, like we said, we have probably 500 more questions for you.
Yeah, this is like,
we could talk for hours.
Yeah.
Let's close with this. Like, what are you most excited about for Park's future? Like, what are you super excited about that's coming out or just in general? Like, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, that is a great loaded question. Oh man, I am excited.
I mean, you can feel free to drop some secrets here too if you want. I mean, we're okay with that.
I wish I could. I don't necessarily. There's some exciting stuff coming. We talked about some stuff in this episode, and there's some new versions of them coming. Not recently, not this recent stuff that we were talking about, but there's some other stuff that we were talking about. There's an updated version to something that's been the same for decades. And it's going to be exciting. And what I'm most excited about, I'm just really, really excited to see. I don't know. I was not expecting that question.
Sorry, man. No worries whatsoever.
Well, what I guess a better way to put that is when you do this job, like, what's the best part of your job? Like
what is the best part of being Truman at Park? What's the best part?
Yeah, what makes you go to work every day?
I love seeing something go from a block of aluminum to a new idea, or from some raw material to an idea. That's one of my favorite parts of the process. I love that part, the prototyping part of it. And that's my favorite part of the process. And that's what cool. I get the, some people, maybe one person would call it the fizz. I get the fizz from that. It makes me really happy when like you take something and you create, cause at the bike shop, you changed the fork cap.
Yeah.
Tool.
Yeah.
That was me. You're always making stuff work for you, work in your environment, work on what you're working on, changing stuff. And when you're creating it from the ground up, you get to just kind of create exactly what you want. And that's what makes me most excited in my role.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, thank you so much, Truman. We really appreciate your time. For our listeners, Park Tools website out there, just fantastic YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, that's what's enabled me to kind of like get the skills. You're kind of like my own private little bike mechanic school that I've probably watched every one of your videos.
They're so helpful.
Wait for them to come out and I watch them. And even if it's like for some road bike thing, I still watch it.
And you guys are hilarious.
Yeah. And you're doing a great job, man. It's cool to see you come. I mean, it's been Calvin forever, but recently you've come on and you got a great vibe and a great, I don't know what's it called, like camera persona.
Yeah.
And you guys put things really simply. You don't make it too long. I really like that when you introduce a new product, you got like a 2-minute video out there that just gives me what I need to know. I'm in love with you guys. That's weird, but
maybe we dwell on the videos for a little bit. And what all of those things that you mentioned, we put a ton of time into that. It takes a lot of time to not make a long video.
Yeah.
It's easy. How long have we been talking?
Hour 17.
Hour and 17 minutes. Yeah.
Calvin and I can talk forever about any topic. Yeah. But what's really difficult is trying to keep it in a short, compact. You need to know. You need to know what you need to know, and some people really just want to jump in and you to show them exactly how to do it. But what people don't understand is that there's a lot of different versions of things out there. There's a lot of different standards, so you have to kind of set this groundwork and put down all of these, like how it works, so that people can see that these different things, even though they look different, they work the same. And then you have to go through it and use words and use language that both speak to a beginner and an expert.
Right.
Because experts need little reminders here and there.
Yeah.
Or I love watching people work on bikes because it's how you hold your hand. That's a little genius little tip. Mm-hmm. It's all the little things.
Yeah.
And so you go through and so it's hard to not be, either you're going to be kind of snooty or condescending, and you really try to not be those, and you want to give people exactly what they need in the most efficient way possible. But sometimes efficient takes 10, 15 minutes. And for some people, that's way too long. For some people, they want to know way more. And they end up in my email box.
Awesome.
I think you got it just right. That's what I think. So what you guys are doing, it's working for me. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
Truman, thanks a lot, brother. Have a great night, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dane. And thanks, Josh, for having me. It's really been a good time.
Yeah.